then.
Yeah, team found round, he got too much on the curb, too early on the throttle, panicking because when he got overtaken by Alex Ham. Unlucky for him.
Definitely look to be struggling. The reigning champion Jonathan Cox. Amount of times I've gotten that wrong. Further back, Jubal then looking to make the most of any mistakes, and then just decides to call it a day. Alex Ham down the inside into turn 1. It's going to be a bold move to make. Looks to the inside, but Hazard just holds his nerve and doesn't give an inch. Jubal then trying to make the most of this, but it looks like Seb has gotten through the traffic a lot more efficiently than the guy in front, and obviously pulling it to the side of the road. But Will looking to get back. Old Boy going really deep into turn 1. Jonathan Cox going to get a lovely double cut back on the both of them then, and very opportunistic move to find his way back up into P9 after having an earlier spin. Walker with a 3-second time penalty, the first of the medium runners to get one up in front. Him and Ferg then still pretty close, and that 3-second penalty is definitely not going to be what he wants, but most of the grid has one at this stage in the race, so let's hope it doesn't come down to penalties. And yeah, sorry about that guys, the stream did cut out midway through. Perhaps Wi-Fi just doesn't want it today. Usually can run at a higher quality, but obviously not today. But back up now anyway, and Jewel still on the hunt for the two people in front of him. Ferg still languishing around that 1 second mark behind Walker, who neither of them still has pit. Seb on the hard tyres, not making as much of an indent into the lead as he hoped he would. There's yellow flags through sector 2. It looks like a Renault further down in the infield section, just getting a bit caught up perhaps on the curb. Jewel and Alex Ham, who's shown he can be late on the brakes. Down the inside he goes. Hazard gives him a little bit of space. Alex Ham just showing his nose then, getting a bit sideways. This could leave him under pressure from Jewel, who with those hard tyres is not going to have the amount of grip he wants. He's going to look to the outside. Can he perhaps get the power down? Oh, this is going to be a great move if he can make it. Gets the power down and soars around the outside of Alex Ham then, and that is an amazing move. Very opportunistic from Jewel then to use the grip he has around the outside, get the power down and keep Alex Ham pinched on the curb, and just downshift and get the power down. Very nice move then from Jewel, and very opportunistic. Great racing.
Amazing racing to go round the outside of Alex Ham there through that corner. Very hard corner to go around the outside, but it worked off him. Very impressive stuff.
Definitely looked as if he was quite far back as well. He definitely used the gears to get it turned. He's going to be looking to get into P4 then, ahead of DFR Hazard in the AlphaTauri. After Alex Ham looking up the inside, just didn't work for him, and it cost him the position to Jewel. So perhaps he could have just waited for a bit of a better move. Very bold send up the inside he went. But Jewel then on the back of Hazard Tomb found with a 3-second penalty. Jonathan Cox chasing down the Maverick for P8. The Maverick in of the race and point on 7-lap older tyres. Jewel though, the other hard runner other than GFO Seb, the previous P2 man, he's going to be looking down the main straight. They go DRS and ERS open. Looks like Hazard's going to defend to the inside. Jewel going around the outside once again. It's going to be a difficult move to make as it tightens up. They're going to be wheel to wheel on the exit. Jewel soars around the outside then on his hard tyres. It looks like these hard tyres are definitely finally coming into their own then, and up into P4 he goes, 9 seconds off his main rival though, and definitely being caught up in this dirty air did not help him. But yellow flags through there. It looks like Alex Ham's going to make the most of this as well, and a very opportunistic move then as Alex Ham moves up into P5 and looking to chase down Jewel and extend the gap from Hazard. But it looks like Jonathan Cox on his fresh and medium tyres made the most of the Mavericks older tyres, and it looks like the Mavericks also under pressure from Old Boy for P9 then. This is the fight for the final place, and if Old Boy can get in front he's going to double his points tally. But Maverick just trying to hold on for that P9. Still got a while left to go in the race. Still not even halfway yet. But Old Boy looking to get past the Maverick through this infield section. A lot of lockups from the Maverick then. Looks like the brakes don't really like being pushed through this faster section. But coming through this, then you can just see how much more confident Old Boy is on his fresher tyres. And coming down this second straight, they go up the inside. Is he going to go for it? No. He's going to wait for the DRS down the pit straight. Macca into the pits then. It'd be interesting to see who reacts first. It looks like Walker's into the pits then. He is the first of the medium runners to come in and strap on the hard compound tyres. And Cyril Fair going for the overcut down the inside into the final corner. Old Boy goes. It's going to give him a good run onto the straight then with DRS. And it looks like the Maverick's just going to concede that. There's yellow flags. And it looks like a Renault is round. Looks like Drew's round again at caution curb after his cold hard tyres just couldn't heat up as well as he wanted to. Walker then has come out of the pit ahead of Jewel. So all this fighting has definitely cost Jewel the position. And he's also only 3 seconds behind GFO Seb on his 6th lap fresher hard tyres, which could definitely come into their own towards the end of the race. And 14 seconds is the gap Seb has to Ferg. Will Ferg react and come into the pits on this lap? Yes, he does. Very similar pit lane to the Nürburgring GP circuit is the Hungary, but coming into the pit lane then, and hopefully strapping on some medium tyres after a pretty good and pretty commanding first stint from Ferg and Walker there. And Walker will be looking to chase down after Seb with the remaining 20 laps to go, those 6 laps. Fresher tyres will definitely come into their own then towards the end of the race. Soz and Pat looking for streams, YT, the Haas and Alfa Romeo looking to have a bit of a fight for what won't be points but will be track position, which I'm sure they'll just a bit of a battle for pride then really, but no closer battle. Looks like Drew and Crovey, who Crovey has left the session, so Drew makes up a free position, but Soz and Pat and Streams YT duking it out with his fresher hard tyres, getting a bit caught up over the curb then. That's going to allow Streams to get a bit further away than he would have liked. Looks like Walker has it looks like Ferg's come in, he's 1.6 seconds back, and Walker has made an indent of about 0.6 to Seb's lead already then, and Seb potentially struggling on those hard tyres up in front. Let's see if Walker can make any indents and capitalise off any mistakes. Soz and Pat falling a little bit behind. Let's check in on Jonathan Cox on his 8-lap old medium tyres, trying to chase after the McLaren after his earlier bit of an incident with GFO Seb. Bit of a racing incident, of course, 2x2 through that fast left-hander just never will work. He will just get turned into, and GFO Seb and Toon fans retired from the session. Looks like he's called it a day in the pit lane, so hopefully there won't be a full course yellow caused by that. Walker though, 2.8 seconds back is the gap between him and the pole sitter Ferrari, who set an amazing lap of a 13.3 in quali. He looks like to be chasing after him, so it looks like this medium to hard strategy could pay off for them, Willis.
Definitely, I think that's going to pay off for them. Very wise decision to start from the mediums, the people who are outside the top 10 and the 2 people that are inside the top 10. Looking very promising for them, I would say.
Good. Let's have a little look, see how many positions people have gained then. And where do I do that? Interval tyre position change. So the people outside the top 10 then, it looks like the Maverick has made the most of his medium tyres. Looks like Old Boy from P10 has made up a couple of positions. Walker and CRL Ferg though up doing their thing, down to 2.5 seconds then is the gap between him and Seb. Seb will have a bit of a battle on his hands then towards the tail end of the race. Hazard and Streams, looks like Hazard finally got round iStreams. Nope, looks like Sozin, who was chasing him, has fallen back a little bit, and Hazard and Streams, Hazard down 1 position. Hazard looking to just stay in front then as he potentially just come into the pit lane. Yeah, it looks like Hazard had just come into the pit lane and had to hold off Streams for a little while. But he's come out in P11 on fresh hard tyres, so we will go for the undercut on the person he was nearest to. It looks like Alex Ham will stay out another lap on the 13-lap old medium tyres. Extremist YT chasing down the racing point for P9 then. These two going at it again. The Extremist YT, after having a previous little incident with... Was it Drew that he had a bit of an incident with? Drew cutting the grass.
Do you believe that was Drew?
But he's in the DRS. He's got the run down the pit straight. He's still missing that end plate then, so he's very quick even without that front wing end plate, costing him a bit of downforce. And up into P9 he goes around the outside of Maverick, who's on 17-lap old medium tyres. So he's looking to take these very long and potentially maybe even strap on a set of softs or just go for the hard compound tyres. Looks like Big Mac with a 3-second time penalty as well. 2.1 seconds then is the gap between Walker and Seb. Still all to play for then, with about 18 laps to go, still about the halfway point. So it's not over yet, but Walker quickly making indents into Seb's lead. And Willis, I need to run to the toilet, so I'll leave you with the lovely folk of our RRC for just a little while.
That is not a problem. We do have CRL Ferg. He has not got a 3-second penalty, so that is going to be very interesting, as Walker and Seb both have 3-second penalties. As long as he can keep it within the gap, that'll be very, very, very interesting coming towards the last few laps. We do have... So gaps have opened up pretty nicely. We do have Jonathan Cox coming up to the back of Rabbit. He's opening up DRS, using up quite a lot of its ERS, and he's going to go down the inside. Brilliant move with Jonathan Cox. Made pretty easy. I think Rabbit's going to let him through just to so they can catch the people ahead. Quite a large gap though. Look very promising there. Brabant's just going to sit behind for a while, save some of his ERS and use it up towards the end. Very, very opened up gaps here. Not many people, like quite a few, have got penalties at the moment, so it's going to be very interesting at the end to see where positions are going to be made. Maverick looking promising, only 1.8 seconds off the next car. The next car does have a 3-second penalty. Then you have TCF Old Boy with the biggest penalty out of the entire lobby, 9-second penalty. Unfortunate for him.
Don't worry, Willis, mate, I've returned.
Hello, welcome back. I just noticed CRL Ferg doesn't have a 3-second penalty, so that's going to be interesting towards the end between Walker, Seb and Ferg. He can just keep it within a 3-second gap.
Ferg, let's have a little look at his warnings. Ferg then, he's got 3 warnings, but potentially 1 for contact. So anymore, he just needs to keep it clean for the remainder of the race, and he could inherit what will be the net lead of the race. Walker then not making much of an indate then, as Alex Ham into the pits once again for medium tyres to the end of the race. Is he going to come out in front of DFRL Hazard, the man he was previously fighting? It looks like he is. So he's out in P8 position and on fresh medium tyres, looking to make some inroads. But Ferg just needs to keep it clean. 2.4 seconds is the gap. So as it stands for the remainder of 15 laps, he will still finish ahead of Walker, who's still trying to get within that -2 seconds of Seb in front. Just needs to get a bit of momentum and try and capitalise off some mistakes. Yellow flags through sector 2. It looks like it's Drew again round at caution curb. He's not really liking it, but he's still trooping on, and respect to him for that.
Gaps have opened up quite nicely. I was just saying while she was going to the toilet, gaps have opened up quite a lot. All of them with about 3 seconds between each other.
So it looks like the field is pretty spread out, and the strategy still trying to play a big role. Walker's still trying to make the most of his strategy before slowly chipping away at Seb, and he's got 15 laps to do that, and those softer tyres will hopefully play dividends towards the end. Ferg there, still languishing back, so when these two potentially start fighting, when he catches up, would close up, and hopefully he might have 2 cars to deal with, which would definitely make it a lot interesting.
Definitely. Jonathan Cox is on a mission at the moment. He's 5th now. He has gained quite a few positions after that unfortunate incident between Alex Ham and Jonathan Cox.
Certainly. Big Mac with a 3-second penalty, and it looks like he's called it a day then. He's going to be the 6th retirement, and Jonathan Cox is picked up, and there's a safety car, so Walker with a very late decision then to come into the pit. And if that was real life, that would be a 5-second time penalty for missing the bollard, but very late call from Walker then. Very split-second decision, and he definitely did have a lot of time to react to that, but it looks like he's going to go on to maybe a medium set of tyres towards the end of the race. He's not going to lose out track position to Will, who also decides to come in. Looks like Seb and Ferg, who had to stay out the extra laps. Seb, obviously, it was called after he crossed the timing line. He's going to be stuck on those 13-lap old hards. So this safety car timing has cost Seb a lot of time here.
Definitely, you're going to walk on the very, very fast mediums now compared to the very old hards. It's going to be a very interesting race going to the end, with
and even
without the penalty as well.
Yeah, and even if Seb or Ferg decide to come into the pit lane, they're going to lose a lot more time going around at the... and Soslin's disqualified in the session for ignoring yellow flag. So not the brightest idea. But if Seb and Ferg both come into the pit lane, then they're going to lose a lot more time going slowly, because the rest of the field is already pit and they're bunched up. So with the safety car then, Walker decided to pit because it was essentially a free pit stop. Coming through on the safety car then, the drivers have to adhere to a 40% race speed delta. So while the rest of the track is going slow in the pit lane, you lose a lot less time. And it looks like Walker, on his fresh medium tyres, already caught up on to the back of the leaders. So even if they do pit now, they're going to lose out a lot more. Will as well on the mediums, making most of the strategy. Alex Ham and Jonathan Cox up into P6 on the medium. It looks like the rest of the field has opted. Maverick to the softs. So he's hoping for a long safety car then if he's going to nurse those soft tyres home. The rest of the laps definitely doable, but those soft tyres will be screaming for help towards the end. Will Ferg and Seb come into the pits? They've decided they're going to come into the pits. Ferg nearly riding that curb into the wall then. So this is what's going to cost them the least amount of time. They have to pit for the fresher tyres, otherwise everyone's going to overtake them. But they're definitely going to be on the back foot. And Walker, after a very, very late strategy call, I don't know if you saw it, Willis, but that was very fine lines, almost took his wheel off. Inherits the race lead, followed by Dewell and what will be Alex Ham and Jonathan Cox as they cross the line. So Jonathan Cox suddenly is back into it.
Right, Alex Ham is just 2 lap old mediums. It would be slightly off the pace, but not much at all. Maybe a 10th, I would say. The Maverick and Sosm Pat is going to be very interesting. Them two on the soft scene, try and see if that could last. Yeah, they will wear off for the end, though. Then the mediums will come into play.
Definitely. So it looks like the medium tyre was the way to go under this safety car period, and very much to spice up the race then as Seb and Ferg both on the back foot, but Walker with a 3-second penalty is going to need to extend the gap then under the safety car restart. But Ferg and Seb needing to get those tyres warmed up. They're in 6th and 7th, and they've got a way to get through the field if they want to get back into those fight for the lead of the race. And Walker in the lead will be controlling the pace under the restart and hopefully trying to get the advantage over the Mercedes behind him. So the Haas leads, followed by Dewell, Alex P3, Jonathan P4, Brabbit P5, Seb and Ferg P6 and 7, Oldboy P8, Maverick P9, Hazard P10, Streams YT and Extremis YT in 11th and 12th, Sozin and Crovey in P13 and 14. So very, very very shaken up grid.
Dougal might have a very good chance here. He hasn't got a penalty compared to Walker, and I do believe Walker has quite a large penalty. No, it's only a 3-second penalty. That's going to be very interesting going across the line at the end.
Certainly will be. It looks like we've got an extra lap just while the rest of the grid bunches up behind him. But this has thrown a massive curveball into the race then. Anyone can win it.
Anyone can win it. Cyril Ferg in 7th. 3 cars ahead of Cyril Ferg. All got penalties as well. I believe it's going to come down to penalties at the end of the race here. We've only 11 laps to go.
Potentially less laps are over green flag racing then, unless the safety car is in this lap. Looks like it will be because the rest of the grid is bunched up. Walker then, it is hammer time from the pole position, from the lead of the race. Dewell as well behind. He just needs to stay within that 3-second gap and hold off Ham and Jonathan Cox behind. Jonathan Cox with a penalty as well. It definitely could be decided with penalties.
Matt is very happy. I think Maverick's going to be with this long safety car. And softs are going to work nicely for him now with them extra laps on the safety car. Safety car is in this lap here. It's good. Very good going across the line.
So Walker then becomes the effective safety car. So he will be controlling the pace then. He is the leader. He becomes what is the effective safety car. While the safety car comes into the pits then, he can punch it whenever he wants between now and the timeline. Looks like he's punched it early. He can't stop and go, but he's punched it early. Caught Jewel off just a little bit, and we go underway from green flag race, and then looks like Ham has gotten a much better restart, as well as Jonathan Cox in the slipstream. Then Walker with a great restart, controlling the pace very well. Alex Ham looking to the inside into turn 1. Jonathan Cox as well. Looks like there's a Ferrari looking to try and make moves further back. Seb looking to make those moves early. Alex Ham then looking to get past Jewel, who just needs to stay within 3 seconds of Walker. Walker's just trying to stretch his legs at this stage in the race. Looks like Seb, there's yellow flags already. Looks like there's an Alfa Romeo of Sozenpat round, and GFO Seb looking to get past Brabbit in front, who GFO Seb and Ferg without a penalty, so he could definitely gain some positions from this as well. Just needs to keep it clean. Cyril Ferg, no, as I say that, he's picked up a 3-second penalty. Still a lot less than most of the field then, and Jonathan Cox looking to get past Alex Ham to get back onto the podium after his previous spin earlier in the race. Seb looking to get past Brabbit as well. Looks like we're in for a long train. Walker extending this gap then to about 1.2 seconds. No DRS until 3 laps in after the restart. So these guys are just going to be relying on Slipstream and ERS to propel themselves forward. Looks like Seb on the back of Brabbit, and down the inside he goes into the sector 3 corner. Down the inside he goes. Brabbit getting caught up there. It's going to leave him vulnerable to Ferg, who's looking around the outside of the penultimate corner. He's going to squeeze him as much as he can. Side by side they go. Give him just enough room all over the curb, and nearly pushing him into the pit lane. Down the inside into the final corner he goes. Up. Oh no, he's tapped the wall. Is that damage for Ferg, who tapped the wall into the pit lane, then couldn't back out as much as he wanted to, but Seb as well. Jonathan Cox soaring around the outside of Alex Ham up into the podium positions and looking to chase after Will, who just needs to stay within 3 seconds of Walker up in front, and Ferg looking to make the most of that opportunistic move around the outside of Brabbit, but just couldn't get the power down, tapping the pit wall as he does that as well. And Seb just trying to get back through Alex Ham after being caught out by the safety car as well. Jonathan Cox looking to chase after Jewel, who is looking about 7 tenths in front of him. He just needs to stay with that 1 second just before DRS gets enabled, and Seb looking to make up for some lost ground. Ferg back on the back of Brabbit, who looks to be struggling off the back of the restart. Seb up in front, and he's pushing him through the chicane then, as you can see. He's got a little bit more ERS to use. ERS energy recovery system, of course. They use the heat energy and kinetic energy when the car brakes to transfer that into electrical energy to charge a motor, which turns the rear wheels at an extra about 140 brake horsepower. But he's going to be using all of that. Down the inside he goes, a bit like Seb did on the previous lap. He's going to be on the outside once again. Deja vu, and he looks to the outside. Is he going to make it stick this time? There's a bit of real rub and a lot of wheel run, and he's getting tapped, and he's going to have to make a slide, but it looks like he's going to control the race this time and up into P6 to chase after. DRS enabled as well. Seb looking to get past Alex Ham. He's got a good run out of the final corner, and looks like Ham is just going to concede that position. Seb then on the charge back up into the podium places. Jonathan Cox also looking quick on these medium tyres off the restart and looking to get past Will, who is languishing 1.5 seconds behind Walker. Walker's hope then is that there's going to be a bit of a fight behind. He's going to be able to stretch his leg. He's got halfway that he needs to get off this penalty then, and Willis, bit of a chaotic restart then.
Very chaotic restart. Maverick did make up about 3 positions, but then he dropped back down to P10. Unlucky for him on the soft tyre.
Definitely, and Jonathan Cox through this infield section getting a bit caught up. But GFO Seb as well has managed to catch up to Jonathan Cox with his fresh and medium tyres. Won't make much of a difference. He's 5-6 cents purple then, and he's pushing everything he's got then to try and catch up to these two. Walker about a couple of tenths extended his lead. He just needs to hope these guys start battling behind GFO Seb in the DRS. Jonathan Cox also in the DRS. He's not got a lot of ERS to be using. He's in the DRS. So is Seb. So it's going to be a 3-way fight then for P2. Alex Ham a little bit further back. Walker sets the fastest lap. Seb then reacts with the faster lap. And Walker looking very quick. Jonathan Cox, the reigning champion, can't quite get close enough on this occasion. Into turn 1 he goes then, pushing him through. Just needs to save a little bit more ERS. It looks like he's pushing his way to try and catch up to the P2 man. Even if he stays P3, that's going to be a great recovery drive. Jonathan Cox then and Seb, the yellow flags for sector 2. It looks like it's just Soz and Pat having a little spin at the turn 2 curb. 2.1 seconds then is Walker's gap. This is a race against time then for Walker. He's racing Jewel to get rid of that penalty that he got previously in the race, and Jonathan Cox a little bit closer. Seb as well close. This is going to be a 3-way fight for P2, P3 and P4. Alex Ham not quite close. Ferg trying to catch up as well. Has he got a bit of damage to the front wing of that Renault? Doesn't look like he's got much damage after the tap of the pit wall, but he might still have a little bit. But Seb definitely looking quick then, Jack.
Seb definitely looking very quick when he catch up to Jonathan Cox here. Jewel does not have a penalty, so as long as he can stay between a 3-second gap between Walker, he will have the win here. But Jonathan Cox and Seb after him. Jewel is off the pace a bit here, but they are catching up very, very quickly.
Definitely so. Down this pit straight they go. Then he's got DRS, ERS, and Seb looking feisty as well to try and get past Jonathan Cox. Is Jonathan Cox going to send one up the inside? He looks to the inside, breaks as late as he can. That's a very nice move. Is Seb going to look to follow him through? Yes, he is. That's going to leave Jewel vulnerable to Seb as he looks to the outside. He gives the slipstream from Jonathan Cox. Around the outside he goes. Then Jonathan Cox pinching him on the inside a little bit. Seb going for it around the outside, side by side through the off-camber turn 2, and he's made that move around the outside. So Will has just been completely mugged off then. Seb with a very opportunistic move, and he's going to be on the back foot on Jonathan Cox, right on his bumper. Then they've got equal amount of ERS, and Walker's no, he spun it on the curb up in front. The race leader Jonathan Cox inherits the race lead then, and Walker, after getting caught up on that curb, after having commanding lead off the race, has just clipped that curb then, trying to extend his lead, and he's down into P4 on the back foot then with 6 laps to go. Willis,
very unlucky for him. He's getting on that curb, but like I said before, with Toonfan 2K20, he got unlucky on the curb as well. GFO 7, Jonathan Cox seems like a battle between them two at the moment. Jewel might be able to hang in there in the DRS. Walker has got to have a very good comeback drive now. They've been very hot tyres.
Definitely just needs to get his nerve back. Seb a bit low on fuel, so he's not going to be running Richmond as much as he'd like. He's in the slipstream, he's in the DRS. Jonathan Cox to the inside, he brings it back over, so Seb's already committed to the outside. He's going to try and set up a cutback. Under and over he goes, gets the power down, he's going to have a nice cutback then. Jonathan Cox to the inside. Seb has already proven he can swoop around the outside. He's ahead into the corner then. Jonathan Cox, as late as he does on the brakes, bit of contact between the two drivers. Seb having to concede the position then. Jewel hanging in there. Walker with his slightly hotter tyres, looks like he's struggling then. He's going wide, and he may have had a bit of wing damage, so he's going to be under pressure from Alex Ham. That mistake definitely cost him and his rhythm, and he's going to be under pressure. So the previous race leader down into P4 and could be P5. Seb and Jonathan Cox having a bit of a battle. This is helping Jewel stay in there, and he's got a lot more ERS. He's banking it all up, ready to launch an attack potentially on the later laps. On lap 30 of lap 35, Seb looking to get past Jonathan Cox, who finds himself leading the race then after this race, despite having a bit of an off earlier in the race. He's got a 3-second penalty and Jewel doesn't, so as long as he can stay with these guys, he will inherit the lead of the race. Walker then trying to chase after him. Looks like he's caught himself back up. He's got a lot more ERS to use. He's also got a 3-second time penalty, so as long as he can keep it there. Let's have a look at how much penalties Jonathan Cox has got. Let's go to the race director. So incident, we've got
Jonathan Cox has got a 6-second penalty.
6-second time penalty then, so compared to, let's have a look then, compared to GFO Seb's 3 seconds, so as it stands, Seb will inherit the race lead, but so will Jewel, who is only a second back. Seb's launching an attack though, down the inside he goes into turn 2, bit of contact, Seb's round, he was so pinched on the curb, he's hit the wall, that's going to be damaged as well, and he's caught up then and having to reverse back onto the track into P6, and he's left the session not happy with how that went then. Jonathan Cox just giving him a squeeze in desperation to lead the way. Walker and Jewel back promoted into second and third, so as it stands, Alex Ham will take the podium place, and Ferg, if he can get past, will take the podium place. No, he won't. If Ferg can get past, he won't take the podium place. Alex Ham then looking behind these two who are going to start having a battle. He doesn't have a penalty, so if Walker can't extend the gap to 3 seconds, he's now 6 seconds penalty, so it's the same as Jonathan Cox. As it stands, Jewel will win the race, followed by Alex Ham. Alex Ham will inherit P2 as it stands in the race. So it is definitely coming down to penalties. Walker on the back and Jonathan Cox just trying to extend his lead then after a bit of contact with GFO Seb, who went down the inside, didn't find enough room, and Jonathan Cox squeezed him so much so that he just had a bit of contact and couldn't find the racing room. And with these open wheel cars, it is very tricky to go wheel to wheel, any contact, and you do find yourself round. But Walker launched an attack then down the inside, he goes into turn 1. Walker looking to get up the inside, he managed to do it, so Jewel down into third place, but he knows he hasn't got as much penalty, so as long as Walker doesn't pull out the 6-second gap, which with 3 laps to go doesn't look likely, Jewel will inherit the race lead, followed by Ferg, who looks now to have gotten past Alex Ham. So as it stands, Ferg is only 3 seconds behind the leaders, will inherit second, followed by Alex Ham. So we will just have to see how it pans out across the line. Jonathan Cox looking to try and get in front. Walker back into that 2 second. He's looking to try and take the lead on track. He's fallen out of that 1 second DRS range. 4 laps to go, and still looking to a very spicy end after that safety car then with penalties, Willis.
Very interesting for Ferg. Ferg is going to have a very good last few laps of this race, and Jonathan Cox will walk with the 6-second penalty. As long as he can keep within that 3-second range, he's going to be in luck. He's going to be in for a top 3 finish.
2.6 seconds is the gap to the leader, so he will inherit P2 as it stands, as long as he can stay within that 3-second gap of the leader. Walker only a second behind, so it looks like the field has spread out a little bit. Looks like Old Boy and the AlphaTauri is going to be having a little bit of a battle. Ferg on the back of Jubal then, trying to get the podium place on track. He needs to then, as Will hasn't got a penalty, he needs to get past now. There's only 3 laps to go, 33, 34 and 35. Jonathan Cox still leads the way by about 1.2 seconds, so if it wasn't down to penalties, he would be taking a commanding lead, but Walker and himself with 6-second penalties, and Jubal, Ferg and Alex Ham all looking to make the most of their cleaner races. Jonathan Cox, obviously, regardless of where he finishes, has been a great comeback to even be looking to win the race. And Ferg with a massive lock up into the middle chicane, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time, potentially put him under pressure from Alex Ham, who also wants to get involved up the front. As it stands, the leader, the gap to leader, Ferg out of that 3-second range, so he won't inherit, well, he might still inherit P2 if Will does get a penalty himself. But we'll just definitely have to see how it pans out towards the end of the race. And go back to the interval timing. Soz Pat with the 3-second time penalty as well. Ferg well within the DRS then, try and get past. He hasn't got a lot of DRS. Will has been very good at saving it. Looks like Walker's made another bit of... No, it's just Soz Pat. I thought it was Walker then. So Walker, if he made another mistake, that would have been pretty embarrassing. Ferg looking to get past, but they've got a back marker to deal with. Alex Ham as well, trying to get involved. Ferg pushing him through turn 1 then. He hasn't got a lot of ERS to use. Will negotiating the back marker. Looks like Ferg's going to follow him through. Up the inside they go. Sozen racing him for track position then. He's going to ghost. So Ferg definitely could have just taken the race line then. It would have been a bit simpler, but Soz Pat not getting in the way as efficiently as they'd have wanted. So still going to remain station. Alex Ham still on the back, so he looks like to negotiate. And Ferg's got over the curb. He's round. He's in the wall. Ferg out of the race. With 2 laps to go, just a silly mistake, got caught on the curb then. He's going to be round. Hopefully that isn't a safety car. Looks like Sozen's moving out of the way for Brabbit. And that's given Jewell the best position to get into the lead of the race then. 2.5 seconds is the gap. Alex Ham as well looking to inherit P2. And this is going to be the fight for the race lead then. Alex Ham and Jewell, if he can close the gap down. He's got a bit more ERS to use. We're on to the penultimate lap now. Coming on to the final lap. Once Jonathan Cox crosses the line, it'll be the final lap. So he's just got one more lap. If he can get past Jewell, he will be your race winner, folks. And Ferg just caught up on the curb once again, just couldn't get onto it. But now onto the final lap then. Jonathan Cox leads the way from Walker, but they both have 6-second penalties. So Jewell is your effective race leader, followed by Alex Ham, who's in the DRS and looking feisty to try and claim that race lead. I don't know if these two are aware of the penalty situation, but Alex Ham looking to try and get in front of Jewell. If he does, he will win the race. Coming into turn 2 then, he's attacking this as much as he can. You can see that by how much he's pushing the limit of the car, locking up the brakes there, and he's pushing, he's giving it everything. He's got a lot more ERS to use. He's got a few corners to go. He's into that 5/10 range. Jewell just don't want to bottle it, and Alex pushing as hard as he can. He's got nothing to lose. It's going to be the win or second place. I don't think he minds either, but he wants to win. He knows he's a race driver. He wants to win. Of course he wants to win. I'm sure anyone would, but he's pushing after Jewell then. 5 cents is the gap. He's going to give it everything through this middle sector, flipping every apex. Getting the second one, getting the second one again, and coming in to this fast left-hander to round off the lap into sector 3, and he's going to have a slipstream, and he's closing the gap down. He's got a couple more corners to go if he wants to launch an attack, unless Jewell picks up a penalty. Jewell just has to hang on a couple of more corners. Jonathan Cox rounds the final corner as your on-track race leader, followed by Walker, but with the second penalties they've got, potentially could be removed. However, post-race, Walker across the line to win the... Jonathan Cox across the line to win the race, followed by Walker, but across the line comes Jewell to win, followed by Alex Ham by 0.47 of a second. Then Alex Ham across the line to finish second. Jonathan Cox P3 with Walker rounding off the track, rounding off the top 4 in P4. The 2 AlphaTauris in P6 and 7 streams across the line to take P8, followed by the Extremist YT, who has driven a great race up into P9 after some incidents. Well, ran off to top 10 will be Maverick, and Jiffo Seb, after launching a good attack for the lead and getting spun round, will round off the top 10 and points finishes. So pretty chaotic race, and pretty dramatic finish then, Willis.
Very, very interesting race, very dramatic finish. Amazing race. Unlucky for Seb spinning on that curb. Very unlucky for him. He had a very good chance this race.
Definitely did have the opportunity to launch an attack. Obviously from pole position he looked good despite the strategy blunder, but capitalising off the penalties then has been Jewel and and Alex Ham, who both made the most of the penalty situation to finish P1 and P2. Then Mercedes wins the race, then Jewel, followed by Alex Ham. Jonathan Cox, after a great recovery, finishes off the podium. Walker, who looked good to win the race after, but had a bit of a spin towards the latter stages, still comes home P4. Decent result. Brabbit P5. The two AlphaTauris P6 and 7. Streams YT in P8. The Extremist YT in P9. Maverick, the last of the point finishes, down in P10. GFO Seb, the pole sitter, down in P11th after leaving the session. Soz and Pat in P12. Crovey in P13. And your non-finishers were Ferg, Maka, Drew, Toonfan, Tayton, Bagos and Banter. So a lot of DNFs in today's race. Looks like the Hungarian circuit was tricky for the drivers today to navigate, but those who did definitely did pay off, and the strategy definitely played a massive factor in today's race then, Willis.
Definitely did pay off. Very good race. I'm very happy watching that, but just unlucky for some of the drivers with the penalties. It is the Monaco of the F1 calendar. Well, second Monaco.
Without the walls.
Yeah.
But a very, very great race. It's been a pleasure commentating with you once again, Willis. Definitely a lot more input from you, so great improvements already. Only your second week commentating, and I have to say I'm very impressed.
Thank you very much.
Let's just hope everyone else at home does enjoy it as much as we did. That has been myself and this is the first round of the RRC TNR Championship. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I've been Zach, and this has also been Willis.
Thank you very much for watching, guys.
And we'll see you next time.